You're not in a rush as you travel along the Seward Highway toward or from Anchorage, Alaska. These are the spots I would recommend and think are worthwhile. Take your pick. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Molly. I'm a local Alaskan. I've lived here for 18 years, and I want to help you plan your epic Alaska vacation so you make the most of your time and money while you are here. The advice I'm going to give you on my channel comes from years of experience, and I'm not getting paid from any of the places I recommend to promote them. So directionally, I'm going to take you from Anchorage to Seward, but if you're coming from Seward to Anchorage, just take this whole thing in reverse. The first stop I'm going to recommend is the city of Girdwood, and this is also going to be your best spot for a variety of food options along your trip. Girdwood has really good food, so much so that people from Anchorage and Eagle River drive an hour, 45 minutes just to go to some of the restaurants that they have there. If you're in a bit of a rush or maybe you don't want to spend as much money, I recommend the Bake Shop. They've got like soups and sandwiches. It's not very gluten-free friendly, so there weren't very many options for me because I'm gluten-free, but they hand make their bread and they've got some baked goods. So it's a good spot for breakfast and lunch. The other spot I recommend if you're looking for breakfast or lunch and something a little bit faster is the High Tower Pub. I was actually very impressed. It doesn't look like much from the outside, but the staff was really friendly, the food came quickly, and it was very delicious. If you happen to be lucky enough to have the time or be passing through Girdwood during dinner time, I recommend Double Muskie or Jack Sprat. Double Muskie is more your Creole, New Orleans style atmosphere, delicious steaks, best prime rib I've had of my life. I am not exaggerating. Look at that. And Jack Sprat is more kind of down to earth, hippie, foodie vibe, but really, really fresh, good food there as well. If you have more time that you can spend in Girdwood, you could honestly fill an entire day or even an entire weekend with activities that you could do there. Here's what I would recommend. If you want to stretch your legs, you could go on the Winter Creek Trail. It's quite long. It would take you a few hours if you did the whole thing, but if you want to just stretch your legs a little bit, you could go out and back, stop whenever you want. There's also a very short Virgin Creek Falls hike that gets you to a really nice waterfall. If you want to get to the top of a mountain and not have to climb it, you could pay to take the tram to the top and enjoy a beautiful view from the top of that mountain. If you've got even more time and you want to relax, you could add the Nordic Spa experience. It's a newer addition to the Alaskan resort where you're outside and there's different hot tubs and saunas and steam rooms that you can enjoy for the entirety of the day. You just can't leave and come back in. If you're into gold mining, you may really be interested in the history of Crow Creek Mine and try that out and even get your hands wet and try and find some gold there. And lastly, if you have kids, there is a fantastic playground kind of in the center of town that they would have a lot of fun at too if they are getting antsy in the car. Next stop I recommend if you want guaranteed wildlife is the Conservation Center. You can drive your car through, but you can also get out and stop at the different stops. There's grizzlies, there's black bear, there's muskox, and so many more animals. And their habitats are really large areas, and so you get to view them in a different way than just if it were a zoo. So if you want guaranteed wildlife, I do recommend the Conservation Center, and it supports a good cause. Next, so we're still coming from Anchorage to Seward. We just passed the Conservation Center. On your left, you're gonna see Portage Pass. This is my next recommendation for a stretch of the legs. Maybe you have bikes. A lot of people bike this path. It's mostly paved, mostly flat. Here's a fun fact. As a family, we've ridden our bikes on this path about 5 times, and every single time we have seen a black bear, sometimes a little bit closer than I was comfortable with. But that could be something to keep in mind if you don't want to stop at the Conservation Center, but you want a chance at seeing a black bear. You may see one, and maybe you want to stay in your car as you drive and see what you can find. The other thing that you can do in Portage is toward the end of that road, there's a visitor center where you can pay to take a ferry, a large boat in the water around the corner to view the Portage Glacier up close. It's a relatively inexpensive way to get somewhat up close to a glacier. Next, again, if you've got the time, you're going to go through North America's longest tunnel, and that will get you to Whittier. There's not a whole lot to do in Whittier, but this is another food option, fish and chips. If that's on your list, you're going to hit Swiftwater Seafood's restaurant. If you want another good stretch of the legs before you leave Whittier, you could hit Portage Pass hike. It's very popular. Just keep in mind, depending on the snow level from winter, May and June may not be possible to hike, or it just may be very snowy, very muddy. Okay, so now you're coming back through the tunnel. You're headed back through Portage Pass to get back on the Seward Highway. Keep in mind, the tunnel is a one lane. So it goes one direction on the half hour and the other direction on the hour. So if you miss that time by 5 minutes, you're waiting 55 minutes to go through that tunnel. So keep that tunnel schedule in mind. Okay, so you're cruising back on the Seward Highway. You're gonna see random campgrounds. There's not gonna be a ton of other towns that you're gonna pass. You're gonna see an opportunity to take a right to go to Hope, but that's gonna take you about 20 miles out of your way, and I'm trying to keep you on track to still heading toward your destination of Seward. So same thing, you're gonna come across the Cooper Landing Kenai turnoff where you would go to the right, and that's just taking you in a whole nother direction. Amazing places to visit, but we're trying to get you to Seward. So next up is Exit Glacier, and you're gonna see signs for that right from the Seward Highway. This isn't a super strenuous way or expensive way to get relatively up close to a glacier. So if this is going to be one of your only opportunities to see a glacier, I do recommend stopping at Exit Glacier. So you've made it to your destination. Now you see that you can make this a quick trip and just stop at one of these places, or you can make it a really full day, even more than a day if you want to spend more time along these stops. In a nutshell, the Seward Highway is absolutely gorgeous. If you can take your time, do so. You won't regret it. And if you find yourself back in Anchorage, Alaska, check out this video where I go through my top 10 activities I would do if I had 24 hours in Anchorage, Alaska. Happy travels. I'll see you in the next one.